Books Inspirational presents an unabridged recording of Amethyst by Lauraine Snelling, narrated by Alexandra Okarma. This book is copyrighted 2005 by Lauraine Snelling. This recording is copyrighted 2006 by Recorded Books, producer and publisher of Recorded Books Inspirational, an imprint dedicated to stories of faith and the human spirit. Dakota Territory offers Amethyst Colleen O'Shaughnessy a freedom she has never known. But will she be able to claim it as her own? And now, Amethyst.
Chapter 1. Eastern Pennsylvania, Fall, 1886. Her father's words itched worse than a burr in her camisole. "Go find Joel." He'd said those words more than once, or even twice. Every time he got to feeling poorly, he'd point his bony finger at her and utter those same words. What did he think she was? A gypsy who could look in tea leaves? Or a crystal ball and find out where the boy had disappeared to? What possibly irked her the most was that feeling poorly meant he'd had one, or many, too many drinks, and would come home feeling right sorry for himself, and convinced he was dying. More than once, Amethyst Colleen O'Shaughnessy, called Colleen because her father had thought her mother's naming her after a pinky-purple rock was the height of stupidity, wished she could join the temperance movement. If there was some way she could destroy the local tavern, she would, or at least shut it down. But there was far too much work to be done on the farm if she wished to keep a roof over their heads and food on the table to go gallivanting off to join a women's movement. Not that all the hard work would help her any. "Did you hear me, girl?" "Aye, Pa, I heard you, but no one knows." "That's what you allus say. You ain't got the brains God gave a goose. Find 'em before I die, or you won't even have this house to live in. You know a woman can't inherit land. I'm just looking out for your own good." Like you have all these years, chasing away any beau who came calling, she wondered. Her father didn't think she knew of his perfidy, but she'd found out, thanks to the local gossip. He wanted her home to take care of her ailing mother and him. Not that he worried much about any ailing female, unless she collapsed in the field, as her mother had. An affront to his dignity, that was. "If you have any suggestions as to how I should go about finding Joel, I'd be most grateful if you would share them with me." Of all the 5 siblings, only her brother Patrick had managed to live long enough to sire any children, and then only one son, Joel, who was 7 the last time they saw him, more than 5 months earlier. After his father's death in an accident, his mother, who'd been suffering from consumption, took the boy off, and they both disappeared. Eventually they'd heard that Melody's body was found in a river to the west, but there was no sign of the boy. "Write to her kin and ask if they know where the boy might be. Maybe he's with them." "Do you know their names?" "Surely your ma wrote that down on the Bible. Daft woman was at least good about keeping records like that." Colleen narrowed her eyes. Never did he have a good word to say about her mother. Not that he ever had a good word to say about anyone, but still, she'd borne his children, and his ire, and worked herself to death. If her father had worked as hard as he drove his wife, the farm most likely would have supported them quite well, but he'd always found something to be ailing about that needed a drink or two to alleviate. "I've looked in her Bible. There are no records within its pages." "There's the big one, the family one, what's been passed down the generations. Where did it get to?" He reared up in his chair and stared around the room as if the book might come leaping out of a corner or off a shelf. Didn't you give it to Patrick when Mother passed on?" Colleen moved the coffee pot to the hotter part of the stove. She'd have a cup of coffee before heading out to do the evening chores. After milking in the morning, she'd finished digging the potatoes and stored them away in the cellar, along with the other root crops, all in their bins and covered.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.